Well, it is a gorgeous day at the castle. We're working second shift, and we have got something to do that I have never done before. So we are going to prove out if this is a DIY product or not. I've got a little bit of pre-work that I need to do. Need to run one wire to get up for some lights that need to be installed and some soffit. But let's go check out what we have to do to make sure by the time we're done running wires, we're ready to do this part that I've never done before. And I'm only going to do a small area. I'm not going to do every bit of it that's needed, but let's go check it out. So everybody has been highly concerned in the comment section as to how I'm going to do this entryway without removing the castle originality, nostalgia, the feel, right? So what we had before is these double doors that realistically are finished for internal appeal. They're not finished for external appeal, and they darn sure don't seal out the outside. So what I did was framed up the back wall out here that you guys have constantly said I have removed the castle appeal. And again, it's a cinder block. No castle appeal. That's the ICF. As you guys have seen in a previous video, we have the all ever so sexy wood grain metal from Indiana Metals. Looks amazing. We've got plastic on it because the sidewalks aren't poured. I was going to wait and hang the metal until the sidewalks got poured, but that didn't happen. So here we are. That's fine. We can hang plastic. But now, I guess I should digress a little bit. Now we have this external door that seals off all outside air. But as we all know, this wall was framed off of the original castle wall, again, just cinder block, because the cinder block wall was crazy out of level, plumb, square, just crazy out. So we brought everything out to that outside edge. It's framed. I got the door installed. We've got our J channel on because we're going to be hanging some metal on this wall here very soon. But we also had to do something to ensure that we did not just have concrete block walls that were going to get really cold on the outside and transfer all that coldness or heat to the inside. So we framed this in just a little bit, and we're still keeping the radius top. Ryan was here last night without me because I had football practice with Reese and then volleyball games with my other kids, my girls. So what he and I discussed prior to him doing this was, how are we going to close this off? How are we going to close this off? And I said, man, why don't we just take a 2x12, we hold it up there and we trace the radius, cut that 2x12 out, screw it from the outside to our framing on our exterior wall, and then fill in if need be, take a piece of flashing, attach it to the actual curved piece that you create, and then essentially install it by sliding it up and in. And he only had 2 spots that he had to tape, and this is caulked with quad caulking on the top and the outside to ensure we've got a good seal, because I can't insulate where it overlaps this, which you can see is roughly 1.5 inches, but I can insulate out here where it's actually a void between the framed wall and the block laid wall. But the part I've never done before is sprayed actual insulation like you see here that expands. It's closed cell, it has great insulation value. I've never done that before. The only thing I've ever used is this stuff, and this is what we have to do first, because you can see daylight. If I spray the high pressure other closed cell foam in that gap, it's just going to come through and get all over my floor. So I closed off this gap part of the way. I've got to run one wire out that top, but I'm going to take this foam, well, yeah, hold it the correct way. Can has to be upside down. I'm going to take this foam while I'm running wire. This can be curing and be ready for the actual insulation foam. But we're just going to close up this gap. I might not even been holding the camera where you guys could see that, so sorry. Yes, it's going to expand a lot because I'm filling a large void, and this is expanding foam. I don't care. Insulation, more insulation foam is going to go in here anyway. But I'm going to close this gap completely off. I'm also going to close that gap completely off so I can insulate against our framing that the door is attached to. And I've got a few other little cracks like here that I need to seal up because I'm gonna get insulation sprayed in there to make sure that we have as minimal thermal transfer as possible. But now you guys see what I'm gonna do with that foam. The other foam is the stuff I've never done anything with. The gun is very similar to an ICF gun. I'm gonna set you guys down right there for a second to move this box. So I've used this type of gun before. Can mounts on top, you screw it on, you can adjust how much your flow is and you just pull the trigger, right? I'm not concerned about the operation of the gun. I'm concerned, personally, about, this is the cleaner, but this is what the cans look like. I'm concerned about getting the proper thickness. So we're just gonna go for it, just like we always do. But these cans come with two different tips. It has one tip that sprays essentially a stream, and it has another tip that sprays a wider band. Each can has a protective glove that it comes with. I'm probably not going to wear those, but I am going to, you can see it here. Two nozzles come with it. One is for a straight stream. The other is for a, looks like a wider 45 degree. And you want to spray this product. It states right here, for sealing applications, use nozzle B. Plug the nozzle to the application gun, which is suitable for the application area. So you gotta read into the stuff. I'm probably not gonna read into it, but A, B, C. Essentially, you take this cap off and then and I'm not doing this yet because once you screw this thing on, screw that into your gun, it'll pressurize your tip, squeeze your trigger. What I gotta figure out is which tip is supposed to go on there. You can see how that just fits on there so that it sprays the cone. Pretty confident it's tip A, but I could be wrong. So we're not gonna give you those details just yet, but this product, I found them online. I was looking for a frothing kit. Everybody out there, if they have a basement or an attic or a wall that they want to insulate, you get a hold of a closed cell insulator, and if you don't have a lot of square footage, you start to ask yourself the question, well, does it make sense for me to just do this? It can't be that hard, right? So this is KrakenBond. I found them online. I've never used this type of product before, but basically what this has, you can see here, 5.66 per inch R value. So I plan on spraying 3 inches, which kind of explains the other reason why we frame this out with 2x4s. That gives us guaranteed, I know it's not touching the wall, but a 2x4 is 3.5 inches wide. I'm gonna spray this on the masonry and it's going to expand out to a certain point. I don't know how much I'm supposed to spray, but I do have an understanding of yield up to 20 board feet with 1 inch thickness of foam applied at a distance of 16 inches with normal application speed. And I told you guys, we're just gonna go for this when I get to that point. So I now know I gotta hold this thing roughly 16 inches away from the wall, and I put a coat on the wall, and then what I'm gonna do is just see what thickness I end up with. I can take a nail and shove it into the foam and hit the cinder block, and I know what my depth is. How did I learn that? Because I watched these guys spray this foam in this ceiling and take, not a nail, but they had a wire on a pole. They shoved it up in the foam, and they actually had electrical tape on there for the thickness, the desired thickness that they want to put in ceilings. So by me paying attention to the professionals, I kind of have a really good idea as to do this, and you guys can go refer to those videos, and if you pay attention to the details, you'll see them checking their thickness in the timing in which they sprayed that closed cell foam. So I'm gonna get this wire ran, get this foam, get everything closed off, make sure I don't have any gaps for this higher pressured stuff to blow out of, and then I will show you my first attempt of installing FastCoat KrakenBond spray foam insulation, and this is a closed cell product. I don't like the open cell products. Now I'm just getting off on a tangent. However, I don't like the open cell products because the professional that sprayed this sealing straight up told me, open cell foam's good. However, for some reason, it either tastes sweeter or tastes better, or it's easier to burrow in because mice love it. Closed cell foam is harder and maybe bitter to taste to a mouse, but he said he has no problems with mice in closed cell foam, but he has experienced problems with mice in open cell foam. So I wanted to make sure and get a closed cell product. Personal preference, I just don't like mice burrowing in my insulation. We're gonna get all this taken care of, and we'll show you guys the first try at using KrakenBond in an insulation, small square footage space. Well, I know it's a little dark in here, but here goes nothing. I've shaken the can like forever now. I put on the tip that said tip A because it states on the can, for sealing applications, use nozzle B. Making a general assumption, since this isn't a sealing, that I don't want to use a sealing nozzle. But as stated earlier, just screw the container right onto your gun. You got to go quick right there at that last second because you don't want it to squirt foam all the way out on you. And then you just tighten it down like any, oop, see, like that right there. I missed. You got to tighten it down just like any other thread. Actually, I didn't miss. I almost cross-threaded it actually. Here you go, DIY. Oh, DIY at its finest. Don't cross thread the threads, Matt. Helps considerably if you don't cross thread it, especially from the start. Look at that. Cross threading that sucker. There we go, right there. Pretty sure anyway. Kind of hard to see when it's dark. Whoa, my goodness gracious, we definitely got her on there. Spraying it on my daggone door that's not going to get any foam on it, or at least it's not supposed to. All right, hold the can upside down. And again, I have no clue how much to put on here. We're just going to go for it because that's just the type of person I am. Definitely do not get closer than 12 inches. You see how I just blew that right off there? Don't do that. Now that was about a ½ inch thick when I applied it. Yes, I have overlaps, which is going to make the overlap thicker than where it just only hit the cinder block. And it looks like I need to get up in there better. To be honest with you, it's not a difficult application. But what it comes down to is knowing where to point your tip. Always know where to point your tip, right? Because I missed this corner. I got her filled in there. Get behind that stud. All right, let's let that set up for a minute. And it says 20 square feet to get an inch. And I measured this out roughly. That's pretty darn close to 20 square feet. And I'm almost out can-wise, so we'll just finish this can off. If we need to come back and hit it again, we will. If I hadn't pre-foamed those cracks, this stuff here comes out with a lot more pressure than that other stuff. There you go, completely empty. So there was that 20 square foot can, and here's what I can tell you from using a gun identical to this with ICF. You don't take this can off. Yes, it comes with cleaner. You can clean all this out. But I found it just way easier. Leave the can on until you're ready to use the next can that you're going to use in your application. So we're going to go ahead and change our can and shoot this other wall. Okay, we've got our second can on. We did such a great job cleaning the area. It's perfect, right? Getting too close again, goofball. Again, getting close to running out in the can. I'm getting better. Still not great. Getting better. Out. All right, so now that's our two internal walls. We'll let this expand, do its curing thing. We're gonna go spray the outside to get that insulated, and hopefully I'll quit losing my AC, because the HVAC is on and it's 75 degrees in here, but you can tell when you're standing outside that door, a lot of that is leaking. So we're gonna switch cans, take a couple of cans out there with us, make sure we got the man lift close in case we need to get up on top to spray the top side. Now some of you might ask, well Matt, you insulated the inside, why are you insulating this board on the outside? Well, the reason I'm insulating this board on the outside is because that can allow a thermal transfer to this board to get, it just needs to be insulated. That's the short answer. But honestly, thermal transfer, if this board gets cold, because none of this is insulated, if that board gets cold, it's just going to transfer to that doorway, and we don't want any of it cold. So now this is going to be a little harder. I got to keep the waterproofing out of the way, but yet still be able to spray it. Try not to get it all over everything. Probably should have masked a lot of this off. I really like the accuracy that I can get out of this. So I can get that pinpointed right in there in that corner and get a layer on the block. Honestly, I can see myself getting more of this product, but we're gonna hang metal. This actually isn't too bad. You can tell it's colder outside than it is inside that room because this foam is spraying totally different. Now we're going to go up on the man lift and get the top side. I've got an extra can in here with us. Here so we can spray both sides just by walking back and forth in the basket. And I'll switch your guys' view here in just a second because that's a sucky one. Get you guys up here with me so you can see the accuracy of this spray nozzle and how you can see the arch now from the outside and where it's been quad locked basically to the castle wall so that it can never leak. And now we're going to throw the proper insulation over top of it. I'm going to insulate the 2x12s that we installed. When I say we, I mean Ryan. Insulating this header pocket on the back side. Again, make sure we don't have any thermal transfer. Tell you what, a person gets a little more comfortable with it and you can just kind of hammer down. About out of this can. All right. Switch over to our next can. Remember guys, you don't take the old can off until you're putting a new can on, or you take your gun cleaner and you clean that out, because you see how that puffed out of there? That'll just harden up on you, and essentially your gun will be useless because you can't even run the cleaner through it. So if you're going to take the can off, you have to run cleaner through it, and I will probably run cleaner through it tonight before I leave. Don't cross thread it, Matt, like you did the first can. Oh yeah, cross threaded it. Dang it. Quit cross threading that. When that sucker is so cross threaded, it ain't even funny. Alright, I got a little foam on me. That's because I'm not wearing the protective gloves they send with it. But we got it on there. Hopefully you guys can see. Got to spray in a little closer to keep it off of everything else. This is not what the instructions say to do, but I want to fill this cavity up. I don't care if it takes extra time for it to cure. Don't follow me on this part of it. We do crazy stuff here at the castle. Well, I'm just trying to make sure I get really good coverage back in there. And again, this is not the proper way to do that. Please know that. All right, now we're going to drop back down. We're going to get this side of the door. I can get a little bit of it here from the top side. This darn sure ain't going to look like no professional job. I can guarantee you that. So again, guys, don't always do what I do. And I'm saying that because I've got this crack right here that has a board on the inside, this board on the outside, the board for the door, and I can't get down in there. So I'm gonna stick the tip right here, and we're just gonna spray it down in there. Oh, haha! Put your can on all the way, Matt Parr, goofball. I may or may not have cross-threaded this one. Y'all can't hold that against me. Because I believe it'll fill this cavity up. I see it falling down in there. Oh yeah! Now we made it up to there. Spray us a good coat in here. Now we can coat like we're supposed to. Down in here. As you can tell, this stuff expands. There's the rest of the contents in that can. That gets us coated all the way around. I'm about to clean my J-channel off a little bit. And I got to clean the gun, so I'll show you guys how I clean the gun. But as you can see, we've got that coated all the way around. And again, I filled up that cavity, and that's probably not the right thing to do. Same thing with this cavity over here. You can see how much it's expanded already. Let's see what it feels like right now. It's starting to get some rigidity to it. Still sticky. But I'm here to tell you. KrakenBond, and I say it that way because you all remember the Kraken, right? The octopus that suction cupped and grabbed everything and stuck to everything. KrakenBond. It's the best bond there is. And I don't even get paid to say that. But I do like it. It did go on exceptionally easy. Now, I have a little bit of experience with this type of gun. Never pull a trigger. You always check to see if the gun's loaded first. Oh, still had some pressure build up in there. Anyway, I've used one of these guns before when you guys saw me foam the ICF. So now let's go get the gun cleaner. Since I'm done insulating for now, I'll show you guys the other areas I'm going to insulate. It's just not out here, and we're running out of time for the day. So I'll go get the cleaner, show you how we clean the gun. Well, I lied to you. Get over and make sure you can see all this. I lied to you because my foam in here on the inside is now cured enough that I can go ahead and get my next layer on. I thought it was going to take longer than that, but that happened quick. why it turned that sideways is it's a cone, and I've got a crack right there on the back side of the stud that I didn't quite get filled. So now turning the gun a little sideways, again, they might not recommend that, but turning the gun a little sideways gets it right in that crack to fill that void in properly. You can see it happened really good right there. The reason they don't want you to run the can this way is because it takes all the pressure out of it, but doesn't take the product. Whereas putting the pressure on the top side and the product on the bottom, that's why they want you to hold these cans upside down. Try to even it out a little bit like that maybe. Uneven lines. Now remember, we got almost 1.5 inches. I didn't show you guys that, did I? I'll show you that on the other side before I spray it. We had almost 1.5 inches of thickness with our first coat. So 1 can got us 1.5 inches. That means 2 cans should get us 3 inches, and that's what we're looking for. And there it is. All right, so I'm gonna grab one more can. I'm gonna grab a nail, and I'll show you guys what I mean by 1.5 inches of thickness. All right, hopefully you guys can see this. This nail measures 2 inches from the head to the tip. And if I stick it in this foam, that is 1 coat. You guys can see that's sticking out roughly 1/2 inch. So I got 1.5 inches of foam with 1 can, what I consider being 1 coat. So, second can is loaded. If I do the exact same amount, I should end up with, sorry I'm shaking you guys around everywhere to try to get you magnetized over here so we can get this done. I should end up with, goodness gracious, 3 inches of insulation. If 1 can equals 1.5 inches, 2 cans should equal 3 inches. Oh yeah, there's that void again. Don't want the void, or our AC will just leak past that, even though it can't get outside now. Still don't want the void. Driving me nuts to have a void. The void over here too. Out again. These uneven lines drive me nuts. Well, there you have it. That should get us our desired 3-inch thickness all the way around, all the way up, all the way down. Let's get our gun cleaner can. We'll go out on the front porch, look at the sunset, and clean the gun. All right. This is the foam cleaner. This is pretty cool. So you can clean your gun with it, unscrew the can of foam that you utilized, screw on the gun/foam cleaner, and I'll state that specifically for a reason, and then basically you just squirt it out of and through your gun. You can see now it's just nothing but cleaner, right? And you can smell it too. Once you get the inside of your gun cleaned, I used a whole bunch of cans but only one tip, so I can take this tip off. Oh yeah, baby, get off there. Take that tip off and throw it away. But I want to make sure the gun doesn't jam up. Here's the other beautiful part about this. It has a little piece on the side. You take it off and you push it down, and now you have a spray can, so you can spray the outside of your gun, this little top piece here, and that will allow you to take that cured foam, look at that, makes it pop right off your gun, cleans everything up really nicely so that your gun stays good and clean. Yes, I should be wearing protective gloves for this, but I'm not. So here we are. Looks like I need to spray a little more right there. And you can also spray this on the items you get the foam on that you don't want the foam on. You can spray that right on there, wipe it down. Everything is clean. It will not jam up now. It's nice and clear, no foam in the tip. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. And again, I have more insulating to do. I'm just not to the point where I'm ready to insulate those areas quite yet. So I wanted to get you guys an understanding of the insulation foam that I purchased for, I don't want to say it's only for small areas. They sell it by the box, 240 square foot per box. So you can get quite a bit of the product, and you could do an entire home if you wanted to. Just my application is I close cell foamed everything with a professional outfit because it was thousands of square feet. Now we're talking hundreds of square feet, so why not utilize a product that I've never utilized before and show you guys that product as well. And again, that product, FastCoat, is the foam that I'm using, and it's KrakenBond. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, like, comment, subscribe, turn those notifications on, and don't forget to share away.